Hello everyone, today I'm doing a full walkthrough video as usual of our latest update for 11. Maybe you have already seen the presentation video we have released last Friday, but this video is going to be a long version one where I'm going to go step by step through all the features that we have implemented into this software update and tell you all the new goodness that comes with it, as well as some answers to the feedbacks that you have guys provided us through the YouTube videos and the emails you have been sending us for the past 1 week. Let's begin with one of the highlights of this update, and this is the automatic muting of the intelligent speed assistance. As you know, in Europe, we have this little boy right here, which beeps every single time you exceed the speed limit by about 3 or 4 kilometers an hour. And just a side note, I want to say that we do not condone you speeding. We actually done this smart action that I'm going to show you just in a second for one main reason, and that's because there are roads which are not marked properly, or your car has not detected the proper sign, and you want to drive with the traffic. However, the car is telling you that you're speeding. So this is why we have implemented this feature, not so you can use it to go faster than you should. Where you can find this automation, go inside the commander, then there's all these blue dots which are actually showing you what's new in this update. And the first one you see is the mute speed sound, which means that every time this toggle is on, your little speed sign right here is going to be automatically muted, so you don't have to press it every single drive. Now, only people who have the ISA system or the intelligent speed assistance in their car are going to be able to see this smart action. So if you're from North America or your car was built in 2023, you are not going to be able to see this automation here because your car doesn't have this problem. But for the rest, it's very simple. You just activate it through the toggle, and then you can add an offset. I'm pretty sure most people probably gonna drive it without adding any offset to it. However, I personally prefer to have a little offset, and I usually set it at 10 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. So you can experiment, you can add even more if you want, or just disable it and never get any beeping anymore. I think this feature works really great, especially after I heard it in your comments. But there are a few people with Model Ys who said that they do not see this option. And this is our fault. We actually didn't know that Model Ys built in May and June in 2024 had this integrate into their cars, but now we know. So we're gonna expand on our code, and this week we're gonna release a software update where it's gonna allow you to mute this stupid sound. Let's stay on the topic of the commander. We have another thing that we have added, and this is the kickdown. Kickdown is for those who prefer to drive in chill mode, just like me. In the city, I usually prefer driving in chill mode, but there are some scenarios where a car in front of me is driving way too slow and I want to overtake it a little bit quicker. And since Teslas are extremely powerful, the only thing I want to do is quickly switch from chill to sport. In general, if you use the screen, you need to go here, then go to dynamics, and then at standard or sport mode, wherever your car has. But we have done it so you can switch between chill and sport only by pressing on the accelerator. Now, we didn't make an option though how you can go back from sport to chill, so the only way you had to do it before is to press the brake pedal, which was inconvenient. And some of you said, can you add a timer or something similar where I can go back into chill mode without pressing on the brake pedal? And that's why we have added it, so you can select an option where when you lift your foot off the accelerator, the car is going to go back into chill mode. So for instance, let's imagine I'm driving in chill, and by the way, I'm going to be putting different shots which I'm going to record after I record this video. It's like an overlay where you can see it better, but just imagine it with me for a second. So I'm driving with chill mode, but I set it so when I press on the accelerator to a 90%, so let's say almost completely down, the car is going to switch into sport. But then I said when I lift my foot off the accelerator and leave it only up to 30% pressed, the car is going to go back into chill mode, so I can continue driving without the rapid acceleration. I think this addition is great, and I think you should definitely try it because it's an amazing feature to have. Now, another automation we have added is the ambient light effects. So this is only for the people who have Moto 3 Highline. So a lot of you have emailed us asking, I have installed myself some LEDs from a third-party company. Is this feature going to work for me? No. So we are controlling the signals of the car, not the signals of your third-party accessory. So we cannot do anything about it, but we can control the LED strip of your Highline Moto. What can you do here? One of my favorites is to use the LED strip as a blind spot warning. So basically, when I'm driving, I'm going to indicate to the left with my turn signal. The LED is going to start blinking. And if there's a car right next to me, the LED is going to switch in red instead of the standard green, which I think it's extremely handy, and many people already tried it and they loved it. What does always means though? Because blind spot, you have three options: to have it off, to have it on only on turn signal, or to have it always. Always means that when I'm driving without even using a turn signal and there's a car right next to me, the LED strip is gonna flash in yellow, not in red, but in yellow. We separate those two colors so you can realize what's happening around you. So yellow means there is someone next to me, but my intention is not to do a maneuver. But if you turn on your turn signal, the yellow is going to turn into red, which I think is also very handy. I'm personally not using it, but you should definitely try it. And if you want this extra layer of safety, I think you're going to really like it. So this is what always means, but you can set it and play with it as you wish. Then we have turn signals. Right now you see that my LED strip is blue. Typically use the turn signal on Tesla, it's going to stay blue and nothing's going to happen. But I can choose to have them flash green when I'm turning left or right. So for instance, here I'm going left, and if I do the right, it's going to flash the same. Some of you have said, can you make it so when I go left, only the left LED strip flashes, and when I go right, the right one does? Now, it's a smart idea. We obviously thought of it. However, there is no option to do this. Unfortunately, the LED strip in the Tesla is one whole unit, and it doesn't allow you to split it in between. Eventually, if they release some software update that this makes it happen, because we actually never opened the LED, we have no idea how it's set up. But if there is an option, it's going to come from them, and if they add it, we're going to add it. But there is a second option also, which is for hazards. This means that if I select this option, if I turn on my turn signal, nothing's going to happen. But if I go up here and turn on my hazard lights, they're going to flash yellow. Now, I think this is extremely actually handy feature, because a lot of you, when you stop on the road, and maybe if you want this extra layer of protection, you can open the driver door or the passenger door just a little bit, and people who driving behind you, they're going to see these flashing from further back. So this is just another thing you can do, just so you can feel safer on the road when you get going in or out of your car when there's other drivers around you. But yeah, play around with it, check it out, and let us know what you think. There's also the autopilot indication option. When you're off, nothing's gonna happen. But let's say I'm gonna go right now into the settings of the lights of the car, and I'm gonna select that my standard color is pink. When I put this option on, every time when I activate my autopilot, the light strip is gonna go blue. Now, if that's too much for you, only choose the setting for nag. Nag is a warning that appears on your screen telling you that you need to grab the steering wheel, otherwise it's gonna kick you out and give you a penalty for not paying attention while driving on autopilot. When this is selected, your strip is gonna flash in blue just as your screen does when the warning appears. I wanna open a big note here. Many people tried this already and they loved it. However, people said when it's nighttime, the strip flashes way too bright. Our intention was to make it bright so you can actually see it better, and we can guarantee you that you're paying attention. But we totally understand that there are some scenarios where it's too dark outside, and having such a bright light can be a little bit intimidating. Soon, with one of our next updates, we're gonna give you full control of this action and every other action you see in this screen. You're gonna first be able to choose which color you want for the action to reflect on the LED, and also you're gonna be able to choose the intensity. So for instance, right now you can set it so when you activate this toggle right here, it's gonna switch different colors of the strip when you're switching from chill to sport. And some of you said, why cannot I customize it the way I wanna do it? And yes, guys, we wanna do it. It just, it requires a lot of interface improvements. So we are working on it. In one of the next updates, you're going to be able to make it pink or orange, wherever you like it, and choose the intensity. Another thing that we also added is the rainbow mode for the strip. So let me show you what this means. When I open the door, and look what's happening right now. The strip is flashing from all the palettes from the settings, gradually changing from one to another and imitating like a rainbow mode. Just the same as on the autopilot. This is very fun to add it as a welcome animation, so when you're getting in and out of your car, it's gonna flash like this. I think it's pretty cool, and it's gonna tell everybody else who owns a Tesla that you've done something special to your car. But you also can select the option for autopilot, which is gonna allow you to flash it in the colors of the rainbow mode, just as it's done on the screen if you have enabled it from the toolbox. So it's fun. We're gonna be expanding on these light strip animations, so stay tuned because I'm sure you're gonna like everything else that's coming in. And the last thing that's from the commander options is the park if unbuckled. Now I'm in the Model 3 Highland, so this is not gonna be working for me because I already have this option with the new car. However, the older cars before the Highland, they do not have this option. So we wanted to integrate it for you. What this does is something similar as I said it in the original video, removing the push to start button, which is so annoying, right? Like, I love that Tesla doesn't have this. So why when I unbuckle my seatbelt, I need to press park on the stock, or I need to first exit the car and then the car is gonna go into park? No, I think it's much smarter. So if I take off my seatbelt, even though if I'm not leaving, the car should shift back into park. So the two best things about this is that sometimes I just want to sit in the car, wait for somebody. I don't want to be sitting and pressing on the stock every single time when I have to do it. And the second thing is that when I'm exiting the car, I'm going to have a little bit extra layer of protection, knowing that I'm not going to accidentally press on the accelerator while I'm getting out of the car. This is like a nerdy feature that I think people who like automations are going to enjoy it for sure. Now, the next thing we have added is the Autopilot Max, which allows your car to reach the highest number of kilometers you can go with, which your car has detected previously. Let me give you a little better example. I'm driving on the road with 50 kilometers an hour because that's what the traffic sign says. The next traffic sign comes, the Tesla reads it, but the car stays on 50. It doesn't accelerate. So what do you do in this situation? Two things. You press on the accelerator or you scroll to the scroll wheel. So we have done this as a feature here in our products. So what you do is you set it up in the sexy buttons or the knob. In the knob, it's located inside the submenu of the autopilot when you go in. So there's an option which is called Max. So you press on it, and if your car is driving with 50 and the sign says 80, the car is going to go into 80. Few people have tested this feature, but they found a little bug that we couldn't detect it when we were testing it, but it's great that we have such a good community that tested it so quick for us. So what they have found is that sometimes if the traffic sign says that I can go with 50, the car goes with 55 after I press this button. So this happens because there is rounding of the numbers. So basically we are telling your car increase by 5, increase by 5, increase by 5, so until you reach this sign right here. But let's say if the sign is 50, but you're driving with 39, the car is gonna increase 3 times by 5, which is going to push it into driving with 55 instead of 50. This is something that we need to play a little bit more around. Maybe we're going to be increasing the car with a little bit less than 5, or just give it a little extra gap of a few milliseconds so you can recognize better what speed it drives at. But this is something we're going to improve. It's not a big issue actually, because again, it's not increasing it by 40 kilometers, but it's something that, you know, if you are picky and you want to be driving right at the dot with the traffic sign, that's gonna frustrate you from time to time. Now, where can you find the Autopilot Max feature? When you go into Actions, that's for the buttons. You go into Autopilot right here. You scroll down, and there's the Autopilot Max feature. You can set it as a button, or you can set it to the knob and play with it through the submenu of the knob. Now, what else we have added for the buttons? Presets for the passenger seat. Now, a little messy right here, don't mind this, but it's so cool that with our newest update, you can actually move the seat forward and backward, as you can do the same thing with the driver's seat. So as you know, you have different profiles. So if I select, let's say, my colleague's profile, the seat is adjusting based on that. And then if I go and select my own profile, it moves it my position. But why is it not doing the same thing for the passenger? Tesla just is doing their own thing, and that's why we're here for, to give you options that you guys want to have. So let me show you how it works. So right now I have set it, this button right here, to be a profile button for my right passenger. So when I press on this button, I'm going inside the 4 different presets that I have previously pre-assigned, and I'm going to show you in a second how to do that. Let's say when I go here and I press on number 3, it goes into another one. So number 3 for me is a easy entry mode for my passenger, but number 2 for me is an option to push the seat further forward, where I know that my co-pilot usually likes to sit. And that's why we have made 4 different options. I always suggest to have at least one of them as an easy entry. It's a great option for elderly people, or people who have harder time to get in and out of the car. I think they're gonna feel much more comfortable. Me as a bigger guy, I love when my driver's seat goes into easy entry every time. I feel much better getting in and out of the car. So I want to do the same to my passenger as well. Here's how you can set them up. You go into actions. This is for the buttons, but it's similar for the knob. You go into the seat adjustment. You can scroll all the way down. And here are the 2 options. You have the left seat and the right seat. We do not call it driver and passenger, because if you're in the UK or Hong Kong, the steering wheel is going to be on the right, so that your passenger is actually going to be on the left. That's why we're calling it left and right, so you can select it based on your car. So when I go inside the feature, I have 4 different profiles. So let's say right now I'm happy where the seat is. I like this position. So I'm going to store this to a seat profile number 1. Then I'm going to go around. I'm going to move the seat backward. And if I like the positioning of the seat where it is, I can go into 2. And I can store that. So that's my second profile. And you can do 4 of those. You can have single press of a button to be profile 1, double press of a button as a profile 2, or wherever you want it. It's so convenient. You can even set it as your tiles right here on the sexy dashboard and use them right from here. I think it's extremely convenient. People who are Uber drivers or anything in this field are gonna really love this feature, because your passengers are gonna appreciate it much more. Another feature we have added is controlling of the suspension. Now don't get confused. This is not for the Highland model. This is for the S and X models. Now where can you find it? You go into actions. You scroll down into suspension, and there it is. As you see, there are 5 levels, because there's 5 levels on the Model X, but the Model S has only 4 levels. It starts from low and goes to very high. However, we did not know that, and I'm pretty sure you do not know that. In Tesla, there's a secret menu where you can activate another level called very low, which drops the car even further down by another 12 millimeters. It goes straight into cheetah stance, just like you do it on the drag strip mode, without having to go into that feature. So the car goes super low. It's really impressive to look at it from the outside. But remember, you only need to use this feature when the roads are perfect. So right now where we are in our country, I would not use that feature. I'm probably going to break the car in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to be driving it. But if you're living in a country with great roads, maybe the Netherlands or France or I don't know where, you're probably going to be enjoying this feature. By the way, let me know down in the comments which country you're from, and are you happy with the quality of the roads, and would you use this feature or not if you have this option to do it. One of our users actually found the perfect meaning of this feature. It's not so you can show off how low your car is or anything like this. It actually brings your car so low so your efficiency goes high. So your car is going to be spending way less energy. It's going to be even way more drag coefficient, and it's going to save you extra juice on your drives. He tested it, I think, a couple of times already since we released it, and he said he never seen such a low numbers of consumption when using this feature. So test it out and let me know if it's going to be working for you or not. And what else have we added to this update? There are some great improvements that we have added. One of them, by the way, is confusing you, and this is the automation for the presenting trunk. As you know, we've done a automation where your trunk opens when you approach it, and we have added the door button activation method. So how it used to work is when you open your door and you press your button one more time, the car was beeping or doing a honk at you, telling you that I'm storing the feature and I'm going to be waiting for you to come back in the next 15 to 30 minutes to open the trunk when you come next to me. However, many of you were very right. You said, when I activate this feature, the honking is embarrassing. Everybody's looking at me, or I want to be quiet because my kids are sleeping. I don't want to activate this feature like this. Can you do something about it? So yeah, we did it. Right now, when you activate it, the voice notification chime is going to come and tell you that this feature is active. Now, it might be a little bit confusing for you, but you just need to remember, you're sitting inside of your car, you're pressing your door button twice, once, twice, you look to the side, and you're going to see that this popped up. If it's up, this means that this feature is stored, and you have between 15 and 30 minutes to come back and use the smart presenting trunk feature. A lot of people actually been playing around with it and said, I wish I could use it for a longer period. You remember, the commander is awake only when your car is awake. So when the car falls asleep, the commander falls asleep, and that's the reason why the feature stops working. But somebody was very smart, and they say, do you know that if I put my car into keep or camp mode and leave it and come back, the feature stays active? It's very smart. So test it out. Play around with it. Let's say if you go to the store and you're going to spend more time, let's say an hour or more, just maybe put it in keep mode, leave the car, come back, and let's see if it's going to work or not. Or play around with camp mode. Test it, give it a shot, and let us know down in the comments. So there's other things added, just like the speed signs to be inside the sexy dashboard. This is a great addition because many of you are actually using it right here behind the steering wheel. You asked many times, can you add the speed sign so I'm aware what's happening on the road, how fast I can go. So here it is, you have it. But there's another thing that we have added, and this is the HUD view. As you can see, when I activate this option, the screen actually flipped. So right now I can place my phone right here, and at night on the windshield, I'm going to be seeing all the data from my phone and act like a HUD. But because the design of our product or design of our dashboard is very minimalistic, the lines are very tiny, the reflection gets doubled on the windscreen. So it doesn't look as great. So that's why we have started making a new design, which is gonna get rid of the doubling of the numbers. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be very happy to see what we're working on. Just give us another month or so. We are still testing it. We are changing the font, playing around with the numbers and the lettering. We're gonna see what's gonna come up. But for now, we are very happy what we were able to do, and we just wanna be able to try to improve it even more, because again, I think this option at night is amazing. So yeah, as you see, we are constantly improving, adding more and more features. We've read all of your suggestions, so please know that we are really eager to do all of them. It's hard because there's a lot of you. For those who are with us for the past 3 years, you see that we are always upgrading our product. We want to make sure that more and more people can enjoy it. And if you're happy with this update, and if you're happy with what we bring to the table, right now is the best time to share this with your friends who have Teslas, because we are having a Black Friday sale running on our website. You can get everything there 20% off just until December 2nd. So maybe that's going to be a good tip for some of your friends and family to get our products and put them in your car for a better price. Thank you so much for being with us. I hope this video makes sense. If you have some comments, you know where to write them. See you soon.